Debit is a new inmate-owned prepaid calling account that allows inmates to place calls, local, long-distance, international, to any number on their approved calling list. You are able to conveniently fund this inmate account without having to set up an account of your own. Simply go online to www.securustech.net or call Securus Correctional Billing Services at 1-800-844-6591 and select the option to directly fund an inmate debit account today.
1. To refuse this free call, press 2.
If you would like to permanently block your number from receiving calls from this facility, press
6.
Did you know inmate debit is now available at this?
Thank you for using Securus. You may start the conversation now.
I don't remember recording this call.
Wow, it's a bad connection. Can you speak up or no?
Hello?
I can barely hear you.
Sorry about that. I had a guy that I gave some food to, and he told me I could make a call for him. Is there anything I need to know?
Not really. I can't think of anything right now. How about you?
Are you recording? Or
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm in the hole. They're basically telling me they're going to keep me here for the duration until I'm gone. They're denying me access to a pen now, just outright. And the access to my legal material is not happening either. They know I don't have access to the kiosk because I can't. I'm not going to agree to their bogus contracts. So basically, they're just extorting me into either giving up my rights or not accessing the court. There's a guy here that said he got a lawyer out of Memphis named Ben Israel. His number is 517-881-8609, and he's beat these people up here in this court 3 times. And apparently he's a fighter, and not somebody's going to roll over and play dead. I don't know if anybody can try to call the guy and see if he's interested in helping a political prisoner. I'm looking for somebody to help me in case the federal court doesn't accept my writs of habeas corpus for me and Mrs. Parsons. If somebody can call the Tennessee Board of Parole, they're not letting me out of my cell before 5 o'clock. I've told them I need access to call during business hours because I can't call these places. But the Tennessee Board of Paroles is 615-741-1150. And if someone can call, the number they've assigned to me is 463753 and ask them the status of my parole appeal that I appealed back in March. I have not heard from them, and I wanted to find out, just verify that they got it. I know it was mailed out. It shows to be on the outgoing mail list. But and if you or Rudy has the ability to communicate with Ms. P and ask her, in March 17, 2017, they sent 3 boxes to her from the Furnace County Sheriff's Office via FedEx overnight. And I need to know what was in those boxes. Were any of my clothes in the box? Was my suitcase in the box, or my bags with my clothes? Because I found a notice that basically says that they got all the boxes out of the plane and mailed it to her on the 17th of March. Well, if they got the boxes out of the plane, that would have been 5 days before they got a search warrant searched it.
Wow. Interesting. Let me ask you, how long were you denied toilet paper?
2.5, 3 days.
Oh my Lord. Okay, I'm looking into that a bit.
Yeah, and I asked this one guy, this one sluggo guy, Mr. Z as they call him. He's got a Czechoslovakian name, starts with a Z, so people just call him Mr. Z. He's a young guy, and he's new, but he worked in a prison system. He said he came from the prison here because the people that worked there at the prison he came from were too evil for him. But yet he himself has his own evil streak. I mean, I'm sitting there asking the guy, and he's slow as a slug. It's like dude, you go up there every 5 minutes to the front. Just tell them you need to give me a roll of toilet paper and bring it back here and give it to me. I don't mind putting, I don't mind paying for it. There's money on the account. It's not an issue of paying for it. Just, every other jail I've been at, they just give you toilet paper. They don't charge you. Here they charge you $1 a roll.
$1 a roll?
Yeah, $1 a roll.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
What about the people who have no dollars?
They just bill them. They just run up an account. When they get here and they have money, they take it out. One guy got $100 put on his book, and they took out $65 because he'd been here for a while. And
Holy mackerel.
I know you guys are to the wall. I know that, but I would just make a suggestion. If you ever send anything that is of a legal nature, write legal on the outside of the envelope and put inside put the date on it, and then write contents including page 1, this, page 2, whatever it is, and keep a copy of that. That way, if the person you're sending it to, that you're trying to, get information to, gets it, but it's been pilfered and they take half the stuff out, at least then you might have the list and say, okay, the list shows this, but I only got this.
Good idea.
It's just a thought if you can work it in your schedule. And can you turn off and turn back on? Because I've got a script I was going to read to you.
Yep.
Paying for this. I figured I'd go ahead and take advantage of this. Let me know when you're ready.
3, 2, 1, go.
Greetings, fellow patriots and truth seekers. This is Ambassador Mike Parsons, former host of the Voice of Truth, calling from the belly of the beast, the Huffman Hotel from hell, where starvation is a daily reality. I am in the hole, being punished for exposing an officer who assaulted an inmate, and this is what happens when you speak out and report criminal activity. They punish you. I have a letter that I would request be if someone can type it up and send it to my mother and family or anybody else that cares about me and Miss Parsons. This can be sent to any number of people within the government of Tipton County, not Tipton County, but like the state representatives or state senators. This can be in the form of a letter or a script for a phone call. And remember, when you're talking to the secretary, they have equal pull as any bureaucrat out their nose because they're communicating with the other bureaucrats. So they carry the weight of the office of that elected representative. And this is who the letter would go to, is elected representatives, state senators, state representatives, congressmen, and so forth. And it goes like this. Greetings, state senator or representative. My family member is being held at the Tipton County Jail. Now, you can apply this as your loved one may see fit, and if it goes to my mom and others, then or Rudy, and then, of course, this would be verbatim. Greetings, state senator, state representative. My family member is being held at the Tipton County Jail, even though he was sentenced to the Tennessee Department of Corrections. He is suffering from severe malnutrition, including significant weight loss. He is pale, weak, emaciated, gaunt, and looks like a skeleton. He is literally being starved to death. He is confined to a 7-foot by 11-foot concrete cell 23 hours a day with bright fluorescent lights on from 5 a.m. until midnight. He is denied access to outside fresh air and sunshine, has no access to TV, radio, or any form of news publication whatsoever. His access to the mail is delayed and or denied without any notice whatsoever, including their refusal to mail his petition to the Tennessee Court of Appeals, the Tennessee Supreme Court, or the 8th Circuit Court of Appeals. They also refused to accept delivery of his 5 boxes of legal documents. His mother paid $152.15 for postage. They did a return to sender. He is denied access to a notary, pen, paper, and his box of legal documents except for 1 hour a day. 1 hour a week. Well, in reality, I've only gotten access to the box and a pen 1 day out of the month. Now, they'll take me up there at 2 a.m. in a dimly lit room with no table and no access to a law library. And I have just the pen and no legal documents. Or I have the box of legal documents and no pen. Effectively, I can't do anything. And they just leave me up there for an hour and then take me back. It's the middle of the night routine, so I'm required to stay up all night long in order to have the chance to go up there once a week if I'm lucky. They have effectively denied his access to the court and are obstructing justice. This is the same jail where Mike was nearly starved to death in 2016, and an inmate attempted to kill him, resulting in a trip to the hospital with 3 broken ribs, cuts, and bruises. The inmate admitted he was offered a transfer out of the jail by the judge who Mike had sued in 2009, and although he tried to kill Mike, he was only charged with a simple assault and 30 days time served. See the letter from Dr. Fraser and the affidavits from Mike's wife and mom, who witnessed his abuse the day after he was released from jail. Except for his mom, none of Mike's family and friends will visit him out of fear of the corrupt Tipton County old boy network. Visits make his mom feel like an animal in a 4-foot by 8-foot room, which induces claustrophobia, and she only sees him through glass. Recently, however, we were advised that the Shelby County Penal Farm is now a Tennessee Department of Corrections facility, where he would not only be able to access all of the above things that are being denied by the Tipton County Jail, but he would also receive all available good days and credits for time served, which is twice the number of days he is receiving now. And his family and friends would not have to drive so far and made to feel like an animal locked in a cage with no escape. Please contact the Tennessee Department of Corrections on my behalf, or that would be you, the person writing the letter, and ask if they will transfer Mike to the Shelby County Penal Farm for the benefit of his 79-year-old mother, family, and friends who are worried for his health and safety, as well as his ability to access court and obtain justice. Mike is an innocent man who was railroaded for exposing a rigged election and rigged courts in Tipton County. Please help stop this abuse of our family member, our friend, Mike Parsons. And that's all. God bless everyone. I pray that someone will have the ability to maybe type this up and forward it to my mom and or Rudy, who are doing everything they can for everybody else. And I hope that someone out there listening who cares about the truth and justice will seek to try to intervene on my behalf and my family's behalf, because it's one of those things that they've gotten to the point where they're so afraid of this place because of the corruption that they dare not come here. And it ought not be like that in a free country. You're supposed to be able to have the power to hold these bureaucrats accountable. You're not supposed to be a victim. I think Thomas Jefferson said it well, when people fear the government, there's tyranny. But when the government fears the people, there's liberty. We've had enough tyranny in my lifetime. I think it's time that we start exercising our rights and regain our freedom so we can experience.
Amen.
Well, that's all I've got. Anything else you can think of that I need to know? Have y'all heard from Mrs. P?
Not recently, no. I sent her a long letter about a week ago, so maybe she'll send an email. Or maybe she'll write a letter back.
I'm hesitant to ask her to relay any information about the conditions there, because out of retribution, these people tend to retaliate when you expose their corruption and criminality. But I just thought I would, if others that are familiar with that operation there or what's going on, they might want to try to engage in some kind of a campaign to try to make it better.
Yeah, President Trump is looking at the procedures for pardoning a bunch of military men this weekend for Memorial Day, and there was an article in the New York Times about it today.
And where was that at?
In the New York Times, there was an article about Trump pardoning military men that committed horrible atrocities overseas in different countries, just murdering people, and it makes me sick that he wouldn't pardon our political prisoners here.
Yeah, that's sad that the corporation gets first.
Oh, yeah.
For the corporation, they go someplace in a foreign country where they're not invited.
Yeah.
Nobody from Iraq or Iran has anything to do with it. I mean, seriously, they're just doing their own thing, and the only reason for anybody over here to be concerned with them is oil. That's it. They want to go over there, and of course, the central banks want to eliminate any country with a gold-backed currency or metals-backed currency. That's what the whole thing is about. And my website, MikeParsons.org, fourth paragraph down from the top, below the links to the Jubilee. In blue letters, it says lawfully yours. Anybody that hasn't been there needs to click on that. It's a PDF. It'll pop up, print it out. It's 70 pages, front and back. It's 35 pages. It explains what's going on. There's a few things in there that are not exactly correct, but for the most part, it's there, it's correct. And if you've got a ability to engage in finding out how the United States has been converted into a corporation and everything they're doing is all about contracts, then you can start, delving into this as I did a long time ago, and you slowly discover it's true. It's a corporation posing as government. Every state, municipality, they're all corporations. That's why they have you sign. If you don't sign, they don't have a contract. That's why it makes these people so mad that I won't sign anything. Because they don't have jurisdiction over me legally unless I give them a contract. And because I defeat their presumptions, because I declare publicly, I'm a live man. I'm not a corporation. I have no contract with you. Get out of my life. How else would I be able to travel with no driver's license for so many years? Oh, I get pulled over, but I don't get tickets. Going a little too fast, not coming to a complete stop, crossing the double yellow line, no seatbelt, no turn signal, various things that people forget to do sometimes in the course of traveling, but I don't get tickets. And that's just because I'm not engaged in commerce. Of course, people like the gentleman up north does the same thing. He's probably better equipped to explain it, or a fellow I met a while back named Silent Night. He's an Amish man who travels, no license. He gets arrested every now and then, but as soon as the judge realizes he has no birth certificate, no social security number, and IE, no trust fund account, it's like, let that man go. We can't make money off him. What are you doing? Let him go. It's because he wasn't breaking the law, because he's not subject to the law. The 14th Amendment, just because you're born someplace, you can be born in a Walmart parking lot. That doesn't make you a Walmart employee or subject to the return policy. Only if you're subject to, by virtue of you signing a contract. If you haven't signed a contract or declared that you're a U.S. citizen, and that's one of the things that really irks me, is they're trying to force everybody, and these people that don't know what's going on, they're going to say, yeah, I'm a U.S. citizen, yeah, right. And they just sold their souls right there to a corporation. When the census comes around and says, are you a U.S. citizen, you better realize what you're doing before you do it. Heck, I even applied for a Tennessee driver's license and put on there, I'm not a U.S. citizen. I gave no social security number and said I don't consent to any of the rules of the road. Guess what? They issued a driver's license. Of course, I sent it right back to them. I told them I just wanted to see if I could get it. It cost me $57 just to demonstrate you don't have to have a social security number. Oh, and I told him, I said, make sure you print my name in upper and lowercase, or all lowercase, not uppercase only. That's a juristic person, an artificial person, a non-living entity. That's what the codes are for. If you go to Title 18, United States Code 921, and read what the definition of a person is, not allowed then, and read what the definition of interstate commerce is, it'll define what a state is. A state is not one of the 50 states. It's the District of Columbia and Puerto Rico, and it has nothing to do with Tennessee or Arkansas or Texas or any other state. That will blow your mind when you read this. This is the secret to undoing this trap. And then the J Treaty. Read the J Treaty and couple that to the Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution, which was written in 1789. The J Treaty was written in 1794, just 5 years later, and realize they harmonize. They clearly say the people, the subjects of Great Britain, the citizens of the United States, and the Indians are free to engage in travel and commerce as they see fit. They are not subject to anything, period. What happened to that? Well, they say they abrogated the J Treaty, but they didn't abrogate the Constitution. It's still there, and Article 1, Section 8 still says the same thing. It says the United States has the power to regulate commerce between the states, meaning those entities, not the people, between the states and foreign nations, and between the states and Indian tribes. Okay? It has to do with commerce between these entities, not between the people. Because remember, the people are the creators. They're the sovereign. That word sovereign means creator and ultimate authority. You know, as Dorothy learned from Glinda the Good Witch, you always had the power. You just had to click your heels and exercise.
Right. How long have you been behind bars now, Mike?
28 months.
God almighty.
28 months and 8 days. And I don't know the hours. My brain is slowing down because I'm being starved to death. I catch when I do have a chance to write. I catch my errors where I sometimes write the same word twice. So I realize I'm being affected. My capacities are being diminished slowly because of my lack of nutrition. I'm being starved to death. I need Dr. Joel Wallach to get somebody call Dr. Joel Wallach and say, hey, get in line with Mike Parsons and get your Mr. Ework guy to help him file a lawsuit so he can get a class action lawsuit to where he can get it so that we can have nutritional supplements for our health in the jails and prisons, and let me be the distributor. Heck, I've been a distributor with longevity. I'm not at the moment, obviously I'm locked up. But, you know, I would be glad to run that operation and let people in here. People got money, believe it or not. They can spend $50 a month and buy tangerine and other products to maintain their health because they're otherwise starving to death in these facilities. And most people don't realize your body falls apart when you don't get the fuel that it needs to survive. I haven't had any magnesium, selenium, potassium, all these things that my body needs, and I know that I can't exercise because if I do, I will deplete them even more, and I could die. I mean, you have professional athletes die of heart attacks because they effectively run out of energy and their body just quits working.
Yeah, it's deliberate. We have a prisoner that's got scurvy.
Right, no vitamin C. He's denied of vitamin C, so he developed scurvy. Yeah, that's one of the most curable things out there. You just give him some oranges. That's why they called them limeys. The British sailors were called limeys because they carried limes, fruit.
Yeah, I know.
We get fruit cocktail once every week or two. Well, that's not adequate nutrition. It's like the guy says, well, we're giving you adequate time to work on your legal. I said, adequate legal time is not what you determine. It's however long it takes me to do the work. That is depending on how long it takes me to write this stuff. I said, you're giving me 1 hour with my box of legal material and a pen once a month. All I can do is write the court and say, hey, they're denying me access to the court. I don't have time to write response to these things. I don't have the ability to write a 20-page response in an hour. I'm lucky if I can get one neatly written page.
What do you have in your cell, Mike? Do you have a table or a pen or pencil?
Nope. I don't even have a metal bunk. Where I'm in the hole. I'm in the worst place you can be. I've got a concrete. I sleep on a concrete shelf that's 2.5 foot up off the floor. It's 2.5 foot wide, and it's concrete. And that's what I sleep on. I've got a 2-inch slit window that's 1.5 foot wide that's frosted over because it's a plexiglass that's been glazed over. You can't see nothing out of it. Where I used to be able to look out the window in the news section where I could see the beavers outside. There's a little family of beavers out there. I could sit there and watch and see, God's creation. And it would give me hope. You hear like at concrete walls and floor and ceiling and a steel door and people yelling and raising hell, threatening to kill me because they don't understand me. And that's my existence.
Do you have a Bible in there?
I do. I have no photos of my wife or my animals. My legal box that they got in Omaha had my photos of Mrs. Parsons and Thor and Yukon, where she was nose to nose with our babies, our wolves, and then a picture of me and Phantom holding him up.
Can I
gave me to look at those.
Can I send you those again? Can I resend new ones?
You can. I don't know the policy on the size of photos, you might have to call here and ask, because
What about color? Can you receive color pictures?
as far as I know, you can.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll send them from the printer, and they come from Florida, so that's where I do my printing, and I'll try and send them in color, and then I'll probably send them in black and white from my own printer.
Well, as long as there's no color pen writing, something about they don't want any
Right.
color. But other than that, I mean, somebody may want to call and just ask this place about it, because I don't have access to their policies. It's like they change every day anyway. There's a guy in here, the only people in the hold that aren't wearing white, meaning you've been in a fight, is me in a red suit, administrative segregation, and another guy's in here, administrative segregation. He's in here because he's actually taken these guys to court. He apparently got this attorney, and he's beat this place, this jail, or this court 3 times, so they got him back here too.
Isn't the policy that only people that are violent go in the hole or the shoe?
You know, they make it up as they go. It's supposed to be that the violent people are held back here. You got to be in a fight, and they put you back here. And you're only supposed to be back here for 30 days, because guess what? It's against the law to keep somebody locked up for all this time in segregation. I've been locked up in 23 and 1, going on 24 of the last 28 months.
So for 1 month, you weren't in complete lockdown in 28 months.
Four. I was from July, August, September, October.
Okay.
November, 5 months. 5 months, 23 months, I've been on 23 and 1.
And did they turn the lights off so you can sleep?
At midnight until 5 a.m.
For 5 hours.
Yeah. And see, the thing is, I got to be standing up. I got to be awake all night long, because they come get me at like 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock.
Why do they come in the middle of the night like that?
Well, the only thing I can see is that it's a way to say plausible deniability. Everything they do is all about lying. And plausible deniability says, well, we went by his room and he was asleep, so we're not going to wake him up.
Oh,
And I told the
my.
sergeant, I said, ma'am, just because I'm laying there doesn't mean I'm asleep. I said, do you really want me to stand at the door all night? I've been doing this now for 4 months. Do you really want me to stay awake all night standing at the door? Just tell me. Put it in writing that you require me to stand at the door all night.
Yeah.
That's what it is for me to get access. I said, otherwise, you know I'm awake. I said, every time you come by the door and shine the light in there, I move.
And since when do they care about waking up a prisoner?
That's the thing. Every 30 minutes, they're slamming banging
Yeah.
doors. Every 2 hours, you basically, you know, they come in and do things that take up a lot of noise. And so you can't sleep during the day unless you're just dead. And at night,
Yeah.
they come in and shine the light on your face and sit there and hold it on you to make sure that you're moving. So you can't get 8 hours of
No.
sleep. Forget about REM sleep.
No.
That ain't happening in this place. This is torture. The Supreme Court has ruled that starvation and torture are the most 2 effective ways to get people to agree to confess or plead guilty to something that they're not guilty of.
Yeah, you're right.
We'll do it routinely. In this place, people routinely will cop a plea regardless of the evidence against them.
Yeah.
Now, the guys in here are guilty, but the reality is not everybody is. And a lot of the guys, they just get so fed up, they just plead guilty just to get out of here, but it's a trap because they put them on probation,
Yeah.
and then they come by and they search their house, or they, you know, they wait till they go to their families at Thanksgiving, knowing their family's got a shotgun in the closet.
Yeah.
We need to search your house for guns. You got any guns? And they know they're going to find a gun. So, okay, he's in an arrest.
Wow.
They give you a new charge. You didn't know the gun was there, let alone possessed it. You're just visiting a family member. But there you go. Tennessee prisons are full of people that had prior felony convictions. They took a plea deal for some stupid little nothing charge, and then they say for the rest of your life you can never own a gun. Show me where anybody signed under what they're trying to do is disarm the public.
I know. I agree.
You have 1 minute left.
It's all a scam to disarm the public, and one by one, all these people that get these domestic, and half the jail in Omaha was domestic violence, and they all want them to do the same thing. All they want you to do is sign away your gun rights.
Yeah, you're right.
And we'll let you go. Give us your rights. You know, here, drink the poison. It'll only hurt for a little while.
Yeah.
So we can come shoot you in the head while you're unarmed in the middle of the night and steal your stuff because we're crooks. They are crooks. The whole system is rigged.
You're right.
It's time to wake. It's time that people out there need to wake up. I harmed nobody. My wife harmed nobody. And we're sitting here. Our lives are being destroyed. Everything we've worked for our lives is being stolen out from underneath us. And it's like the world's asleep. They don't care, or they don't know, or they don't want to get involved. God bless you.
Thank you, Mike. God bless you, brother. We love you, and we're praying for you all the time. Oh, God, help us. This is just a travesty. I feel, some nurses work in an ER, and they have patients coming and going, and every day they are in and out. But this patient has been in there for 28 months. He never hurt anybody. And they wouldn't give him toilet paper for 3 days. I mean, if this is not a violation of the 8th Amendment, cruel and unusual punishment, unfortunately the United States is full of usual punishment and torture every single day. We have 2.3, probably 2.4 million prisoners, 5% of the world's population, and 75% of the world's prisoners, 25% of the world's prisoners, and we have 70% of the world's lawyers creating all these stupid laws where there's no help for the victim because the perpetrators end up in jail, and that doesn't help the victims at all. In the cases that I'm dealing with, there's no victims, most cases. They're over-sentenced. And the ironic part is that the guards and the parole board have more control over the treatment and the length of time behind bars than the judge does. And the judge and the lawyers and the jailers and the prison industrial complex is off like bandits with lots and lots of money, and it's absolute atrocious atrocity going on in this country. And Lord, I know you're watching, and I know that you are a God of justice, and I look forward to that day when you rail down your mighty, fierce judgment. In Jesus' name I'm praying for justice. Amen.